my dance friends, and welcome to my channel. Today, I get to chat with the beautiful and mesmerizing Stacey Lizette. Stacey has been dancing for over 2 decades, specializing in Middle Eastern style dance under the umbrella term belly dance, and has primarily focused her studies on the Salimpour School of Dance. She is a level 5 certified instructor for the Salimpour School, teaches locally out of Austin, and has online classes and workshops, has brought Suhaila Salimpour to Austin several times to provide opportunities for local dancers to learn this format and to become certified. Aside from being a local instructor and offering classes online, Stacey is also the director of 2 local troupes, Tekatek and the Salimpour Collective, and she is also a board member of the Austin Belly Dance Association. Stick around to the end for details on how you can be a part of an upcoming Austin Belly Dance Association event that will be held online, as well as how you can get your hands on a few of Stacey's beautiful costumes and accessories through her online D-stash. Today we're going to talk about Stacey's influences, inspirations, and how she got into Middle Eastern dance, as well as some of her favorite memories with the Salimpour family and through the Salimpour School of Dance. As many of you know, Jamila Salimpour passed away back in 2017. She has been called the mother of what was termed tribal belly dance and has been a truly inspiring force in the belly dance realm for many decades. She created a unique and modern way of training not only dance technique, but music, instrumentation, and really creating a group that supports one another during training and performances. She and her troupe Bellydance appeared at the Renaissance Pleasure Fair in Northern California in the late 60s, creating a truly immersive performance experience. All of the performers would dance, play instruments, sing, and be on stage at the same time, supporting one another throughout the entire show. It's a very powerful performance to behold and even more powerful to be a part of. Stacey's troupes Tekatek and the Salimpour Collective recreate this performance atmosphere when they do their local performances in Austin. And I'm so thrilled to talk to her today about her experiences in dance. So without further ado, here's Stacey. Hi Stacey!
Claire!
Happy holidays!
Thank you, you too.
Well, thanks for offering to visit. There are some questions I've been curious to ask you about your dance background for a long time. So you have been studying Middle Eastern or belly dance for quite a while now, and specifically instructing, performing Salimpour School style of dance. And I would love to know just how you got started on the path of dance in general or Middle Eastern dance, and who some of your biggest inspirations have been.
I first really got turned on to belly dance at the Texas Renaissance Festival years and years and years ago, before there was YouTube or any of this social media. I was in my early 20s, and a friend and I went to the Ren Fair together, and we saw the dancers there and thought, that looks like fun. When we got back to town, she found a local instructor who was Lucila. Lucila was my first instructor, and we went to class together, and that's where I met Jeannie Godbout for the first time. Yeah, I got hooked right away. My dance, babyhood was before, again, YouTube and things like this existed. You're really inspired by the people that you're seeing dance. You're going to the local shows and workshops, and some of my first inspirations were Z. Helene, Karen Barbie, Vashti, if you ever got to see Vashti from Dallas perform. So those were the inspirations, and still are the inspirations. And then, of course, there was one workshop I went to, and one of the vendors gave me a VHS tape of Amani from Lebanon. That tape, I wore it out. Of course, you expect me to say Suhaila and Jamila, which that almost goes without saying.
When did you find your way to Suhaila and Jamila?
Probably more like 5 years into the dance journey. Suhaila came to Austin for a workshop. But before that happened, I was in Mirage, if you remember the dance troupe Mirage that used to perform at UT. One of my good dance friends, her name is Vonda. We were in the troupe together, and Vonda had found Suhaila and had gone out to California for a workshop. I'll never forget, she came back to a rehearsal one week, and she was showing us all a movement that she had learned at this workshop, and it was so completely foreign that my brain couldn't even comprehend what It was. And it was probably something super simple, like that, we would all consider super simple now. But at the time, my mind was just blown and I was so intrigued. So when Bahia actually brought Suhaila to Austin with the first workshop that I took, what we consider a level 1 workshop, it just sort of brought all the puzzle pieces together for me, because here was a woman that had a plan. And I felt like if I studied material and followed the plan, I would get better. Like, okay, I don't even know how to practice, we would get together and do things, but it was just opened up a whole new world. One of the things that I really admire about it is that it's like if you wanted to learn how to paint really well. I want to paint this sunset and every nuanced pink and orange and purple and blue that I see. You need to know how to mix your colors to have like the ultimate expression of what you want to create. And that's what I really appreciated. I can remember a time where I'd listen to music, listen to a song on repeat, and you start choreographing in your head. I would have a hard time imagining like, what would I do there? What would I do there? And it was kind of an aha moment sort of several years into the program where I realized that it's become the opposite. It's more like, which one would I choose? There's so many options. Movement-wise.
We recently lost Jamila Salimpour, who is one of the most well-known and loved contemporary luminaries of our field of study. And I can only imagine how that's been for you and your students especially. I know that a lot of people have been feeling it. What I would love to chat with you about are some of your best memories or inspiring times from the Salimpour family.
That is a big question, Blair, and a great one. And all the great ones are challenged a little bit to answer, right? Because you kind of got to dig in. I'll say that I feel very grateful and lucky that I did get to take class with Jamila. I was there in workshops when she would come in, and she will have just come from the printer and would have stacks of, articles and things that she wanted to share with us. I still have them, the things that she handed out. And just the way, if you take a class from her, the way that she's run the classroom and set up the drills to work is brilliant. And then to be in the room and hear her play, her giant cymbals. You can't necessarily hear anything that she's saying, but you can hear those cymbals, and she, gives you the facial expressions or the nod. She's just a really powerful woman. She would come in during workshops, and it was like a circle time where, she would have her chair and everybody would kind of gather around, and she would tell us stories from her past. And just a hoot and a half. I can't even tell you. But also just so gracious and beautiful and kind with everyone. Also remember performing in a show once and getting a compliment from her afterwards, and it was like, oh, a compliment from Jamila. As far as the experience I've had in the school, with Suhaila, Isabella, with the community, there's been so many really powerful moments, not just for my own dance growth and like the aha moments, but what I've seen in others, not even just as an instructor, but being in those week-long workshops when we were all together, I have seen such vulnerability and sensitivity and just like personal growth as people have gone through the process that has been so inspirational, so inspirational. I can remember one workshop in particular realizing as I sat on the sidelines and there was a dancer coming out to present her work and an exercise that we were all doing, that the more vulnerable the dancer was willing to be, the more beautiful it was. And it didn't matter whether this dancer was like super high-tech, proficient in lots of layers. It wasn't about that. It was about the vulnerability and the emotional expression and sort of dancing where, in this case, she was in that moment, and how as an audience member, we were all like just rooting for her, right? Like we were so there. I took that moment away and tried to apply that when I walk onto a stage from that moment forward. Just remembering, you know, the audience is there. Everybody wants to share this moment, so leave the ego out of it. The technique portion is, you know, obviously challenging. Between the vulnerability, the emotional work, the cultural work, the music work, and the technique work, you really get bonded with the people that you're training with. And it's a huge community of support. So that's something else I've really enjoyed and been inspired by, is you can continue to reconnect with people, even if it's been a year or 2 years since you've seen someone. You know, another inspirational experience I've had with the Salimpour School and the format has been the ball and knot shows. In person, right, live, it's a game changer for sure. I have been on stage in the show and have experienced a full range of emotions from, you know, giddy elation, so giddy that I'm gonna cry, to just like rawr power, just, you know, everything under the sun. And that show is something to experience, and everyone on stage supporting each other and just, you know, rocking it.
I think it's so neat that you bring that with your troops as well.
The Salimpour Collective, and then Tekatek is sort of on a project by project basis.
That's a very powerful feeling, and it's very empowering. You don't get that with a lot of like just dance classes. You get that within the classes as well, because you're supporting each other even while you're training, which is very impressive to me, that it's set up in a way to create that kind of a support network. So Stacey, I know you're involved in the Austin Belly Dance Association. You're teaching online classes and you have a D-Stash happening. So I'd love to hear all about that stuff so that people can get in touch with you or work on projects for the Austin Belly Dance Association.
The Austin Belly Dance Association, we've got a really exciting opportunity for dancers to get some professional instructor feedback on their work. All culminates into a video viewing event in the spring. Those applications are due before the end of the month, so I do really hope people take advantage of this opportunity. I know that it's kind of a strange time. Maybe some people feel a little disconnected from their practice and might seem a little intimidated, but I really encourage you to think about taking it on anyway. And, you know, this could be some feedback that you use for the rest of the year, potentially in 2021. So no pressure, but check it out. And yes, I have been teaching online classes, and also check out the Salimpour School. The whole school has been moved online. So there are semester long and some shorter courses, so you can start literally at the very beginning and learn Jamila's format, Suhaila technique, all of the homework exercises and emotional work and cultural work and music work. It's laid out from A to Z through that program. And people that are going through it, if they need help, I'm here for that, right? I can do private lessons, support dancers however they need going through that process. And then yes, I am de-stashing all kinds of things in a Facebook group. I welcome everyone to join. I'm trying to post at least a couple of things a week, and it could be everything from a silk veil to doodads that I collected for a DIY costume, or it could be a professional costume that I just haven't worn in a while and it needs to move on.
Thank you, Stacey, for visiting with me today. We're very lucky that we have you here at Austin, and now many more people are lucky because you are online and available for the entire public. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Blair. I was so enjoying seeing you and talking with you. I really appreciate it. Bye.
That's it, guys. I'll be linking all of Stacey's information below, as well as information on the Salimpour School of Dance, the Austin Belly Dance Association's Shimmy Show and Grow project coming up soon, and the Facebook group for Stacey's D-Stash. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to make more videos like this for you. Thanks so much, guys. Okay, so we're recording.